maybe I didn't have to say anything, but Charlie says I should. So, well, I was totally surprised when I got a call saying that we, my wife and I, Carol, had been nominated for this award. Certainly wasn't anything I ever set out for or expected. And I was even more surprised when I had the tour and people seemed to be half impressed, and came back and said we've been nominated Woodlot Owner of the Year. Anyway, that was an unexpected honor. I appreciate that they took the time and so on. And I've always enjoyed getting to the woods, maybe because it got me away from politics for a while. And the chainsaw's buzzing, and it gets you away from the phone, you don't want to hear anything, and it used to keep going. So I could go 2 or 3 hours in chainsaw and not bother me at all. I guess there's just, with our woodlot, Charlie's talked a bit about it. We bought a small farm 54 years ago, and it was about half woodlot, and I didn't really know anything about it. But when the committee came out to have a look at our place, I was showing them a picture that was taken well before we bought the farm, and it showed where our house was relative to the road going by, and the clear fields all around it, and then woodlot behind. And what's interesting about that picture is when I stopped to look at it, the road was more traveled back to the woodlot from the house than it was from the house to the road. And what it said to me is that, you know, they used to make their living in the woods, not by going to the road and off to Charlottetown or somewhere else. And that time has changed, obviously, but the woodland really was important to islanders for generations, and still is, and that's why this organization is very important going forward to continue to promote woodlot management and development, and many cases I think reclaiming some of the poor land. The credit for our woodland being what it is partly, I think, because the Department of Forestry, the Forestry Branch Division, has had some support programs that have been very useful, and we converted a couple of small fields that were marginal, really too small to farm, into, you know, plantations, which received a variety of trees from, I guess, you know, the traditional spruce and fir, but also a few other trees that have been valuable in terms of that diversity. And what Charlie's talking about, when you walk through, it's kind of nice to see the diversity and the development after a few years. But it does take a few years for that to happen, and so it's not a quick program when you get into forestry management. You have to be there for the long haul. The walking trails became part of it when you're clearing a large section of, not clearing, but when you're thinning a large section of land. I found when you get in so far, it's very hard to get out again because you're knocking all this brush down on trees that are undesirable. To get back out is a problem, so end up, you know, driving some trails through. But at the end, you have a nice walking area and some opportunity to, you know, really have a look and see what's out there in your own woodland, which is really neat. If you're interested, not such a native species, but there are lots of walnut trees on PEI. I see Jesse back there. 6 or 7 years ago, we bought a couple hundred walnuts and planted them in a front field at our place. It's really not part of our plantation, but they're coming nicely now, and I don't know if I'll live long enough to see any walnuts actually produced, but somebody will. And there are some magnificent walnut trees across PEI in the cities and on farms and so on, and there's opportunity for that. I couldn't leave today without reflecting just a moment on Fiona. I mean, Fiona left unbelievable damage out there. It's really, it saddens me almost to drive along the roads of PEI sometimes, particularly where there's a lot of woodland, and see all those trees down and such a mess. the opportunity for fire, for problems is tremendous. I know some people who are in the business of harvesting woodland are still shaking their heads. I mean, it's just so difficult to get through and to manage that, to do anything with it. I heard of one guy just the other day who says, well, he's given up. He can't do it, and he can't make any money because it's so hard to get in and out and work that land. So there's got to be continued analysis and look at, okay, how do we deal with that? And I know it'll eventually rot away, but there's still some time to go on that. And I think my personal view is there's room for managed biomass. I'm not promoting clear cuts. I've got Angus McLean be looking down from up there and shoot me. Thought I was promoting clear cuts or anything like that, and that's why I've stayed away from that. But there is some room for managed biomass. I would really like to see a program, and whether it's the PEI Woodlot Owners Association or the Road Beautification Society and the Department of Forestry, or some combination. But some of these wooded, when you're driving along the road, you see the disastrous looking consequences of Fiona. And even if Fiona hadn't come along, some just looked ugly. They haven't been managed at all. Like, nobody takes the brush out, nobody cleans them up. And it's unlike the movies that you see from Europe or whatever, where every tree is 10 feet apart and they are pruned up 10 feet and you can drive your horses through and it looks nice. But we've got so much that's so ugly that we should be doing something with it. And I think there should be an annual kind of award, whether it's through the Road Beautification Society or the Woodlot Owners Association, that would actually recognize people who take the frontage of their place, maybe it's 5 chains or 10 chains, maybe shorter, I don't know what the numbers is, and actually clean it up, make it look nice. It's beautiful when it's done. You see some people have been trying to accomplish that. It's beautiful, and there should be more done. So anyway, that's enough of my thing today. I'll just close with one thing. An invasive species, I don't know if giant hogweed gets in the woods or not, but giant hogweed is becoming a major problem down east and the southeast of the province. And people think, oh, it won't grow in fields. It does grow in fields. And it's continuing to grow, and I think we need to tackle that giant hogweed. It's dangerous stuff to be touching. You don't want to get your hands on it. You don't want to get it in your eyes. I mean, this is bad weed, and everybody needs to push to get more program to let's eradicate this giant hogweed. It's a problem. Thank you very much for the honor.